Have you checked your rent lately and thought, how is this even allowed? If you're feeling a sudden, intense financial suffocation every time you look at the market, you aren't alone. Looking at this chart comparing the last 10 years, the acceleration is terrifying. Over the past 5 years, rents across Australia spiked by 42.9%. That is an extra $204 drained from your pocket every single week, compared to just a $33 increase in the 5 years before that. Finding a place has become a highly competitive sport. A healthy, balanced rental market sits at a vacancy rate of about 3%. Our national vacancy rate has collapsed to just 1%, and if you live in Perth, it is an incredibly tight 0.3%. This illustrates what scarcity does to your paycheck. Australians now spend a record 33.4% of their pre-tax income on rent, and if you're a low-income earner, you're surrendering 54.3% of your income just to keep a roof over your head. These numbers confirm that affordability has reached a new, lower floor across the entire country. The geography of the crisis has expanded, making housing a primary financial burden in every state. To understand why this is happening, we have to look at the specific settings that produced these numbers. The current rental market operates within a documented architecture of supply, policy, and tax laws. There are 6 distinct structural drivers that have created a lopsided market where renters hold almost no bargaining power. Examining how these 6 interacting factors function together is the first step toward navigating the current landscape. The first driver is a structural undersupply. There simply aren't enough physical homes being built, leaving active rental listings trapped 17% below their 5-year average. Second, we have investor tax incentives. Policies like negative gearing and the capital gains tax discount make it financially attractive to hold residential housing long-term. These rules remove much of the financial pressure on landlords to price their homes competitively, as the tax system offsets many ownership costs. Third, short-term rental platforms are actively stripping long-term housing stock out of the residential market to serve the tourism crowd. Together, these 3 settings choke the physical supply of places to live while supporting the wealth generation of property owners. The fourth driver is the interest rate cycle. Between 2022 and 2024, the Reserve Bank implemented an aggressive series of rate hikes. This limited the borrowing capacity of everyday Australians, keeping would-be homebuyers in the rental pool, and increasing competition for the few available properties. Fifth, migration levels are adding rental demand at a pace that outstrips our capacity to construct new housing supply. And finally, the 6th key driver. Australia has virtually no mechanisms to control rent prices in most states. Without regulatory price ceilings, external economic pressures and rising costs are passed directly from the landlord to the renter. Renters are responding to these costs with life-altering compromises, moving further from city centers, downgrading to smaller units, or adding more people to share houses to split the bill. Moving away from the city isn't always a solution. Regional rents jumped 6.2% in 2025, actually growing faster than the capital cities. For those with the flexibility to move, Melbourne is currently the most affordable capital city relative to local incomes. This map illustrates the disparity in leverage. If you are renting in Perth, Darwin, or Hobart, the vacancy rates are so low that you have almost no power to negotiate, while the rate of rental growth is expected to slow. The price of Australian housing has reset at a significantly higher level, making location choice a critical survival tactic. The rental system is currently heavily weighted toward property owners, prioritizing the accumulation of housing wealth over affordable shelter. Protecting yourself now requires state-specific legal information. Knowing the exact notice periods and legal limitations on rent increases can be the difference between being forced out and staying put. Recognizing the factors that built this crisis and knowing your specific legal rights is the prerequisite to surviving this market and advocating for your community.